Hello, my name is Danielle. I'm 44 years old. I was actually diagnosed 18 years ago in August of '92. And at that particular time, I was homeless. It was the week of my daughter's birthday, and I was also 6 months pregnant.
I'm Gino Dunnington. I am a third-generation Washingtonian. I found out that I was HIV positive. Basically, I was tested after some years of treatment for hepatitis, and this was in the early 80s, and they called it GRID. This is back in a time when education wasn't around and they didn't even know what to call HIV. So the GRID that stood for gay-related immune deficiency said just that it was a gay disease, that it was white, that it was all these kinds of things that I didn't think really that I was. So denial sort of took hold and took place. I stayed in denial probably for 13 years.
I am George Kerr, the Executive Director at START at Westminster. I have a lot of investment in this because I am HIV positive since 1995. Also, I have family members that are struggling with substance abuse. So seeing them and their daily struggle and how they are shut out by the rest of the world, I want to make sure that everyone that needs help has a place to come and get help.
Oh, the first thought that crossed my mind when I found out I was HIV positive was not having sex anymore. I didn't think about dying. I just thought about the fact that I wouldn't be able to have sex anymore. And then on top of it, being 6 months pregnant was a whole nother thought process. You know, the possibility of giving birth to a child that was positive, which I did. And there began my advocacy.
I love outreach. I do a lot of speaking engagements about HIV because one of the biggest things that I found back in the 80s and those kind of things is nobody was talking about HIV and AIDS. And from the 80s to today, some 20 years later, the changing of the disease has changed and also those people infected. And I didn't see people like me talking about HIV and AIDS. So I do a lot of talking about HIV to youth, to schools. I run a television show for that also that comes into people's home to do educating where they can find out about services. I also sit in something called the Ryan White Planning Council, and that's where the federal dollars come in, and we sort of advocate about services that are needed.
I basically started attending meetings of the Planning Council, and I started actually working in HIV. I've done case management, outreach, I've done speaking engagements, and I've also evolved to where I actually was the community chair of the Planning Council and chaired numerous committees. Advocates tend to advocate for those who can't advocate for themselves or who are not willing to or not able to. And I think it's still important to advocate for services because you don't want just any services, you want quality services. START is a program that offers counseling, testing, and referral, and it's located in Southwest DC, in an area where there are not a lot of services. There are very few, if any, counseling and testing services. START's program has people who are compassionate and caring, they're non-judgmental, and it's a place where you can come and feel comfortable. You can call home.
Westminster has a very long history with working with HIV and AIDS, and it started back in the 80s with Food and Friends, which was housed here, and they have grown and become one of the most recognized AIDS service providers here in DC. What our basic mission is an extension of what the church's mission is, and it's to go out and help people where they need help. And that's why we have this harm reduction program, going out and particularly looking and helping people with mental health issues, substance abuse, but whatever it may be, we're going to go out there and help them.
One of the first things I must say to my brothers and sisters, my black and brown brothers, is that with all the education out and everything, that this is no longer a white gay disease. I mean, we must also take the responsibilities of taking care of ourselves, our community, and our women.
I think people who are sexually active should get tested routinely, especially if you're not practicing safer sex. If you're not using condoms, if you're having oral sex or anal sex, yes, you truly need to go get tested. Because the earlier you get tested and you find out your status, the earlier you can get treated if you have to.
It's very important for men that are having sex, and like some men, having multiple sex partners, to get tested regularly.
You don't have to be positive. Not today.